Hello friends, it's Carla back today, and I have a fall layout to share with you using some non-traditional fall colors, but I think they're still beautiful. And I'm using some Southern Ridge Trading Company chipboard and stencil, and these are the abstract frames. They're beautifully laser cut, and if there's any little tiny pieces in there, you can just pull those out. And then we've got the fall leaves. They come in a sheet, and you can either use your craft knife. Mine was a little bit dull and I didn't want to find a blade, so I just grabbed my scissors, and they easily clip right out of this package that they're in. And we've got a stencil. This is the fence stencil in it's just a little shy of 6 by 6 inches. They have 3 different sizes. And I have some Distress Oxide ink in frayed burlap. This is a really beautiful brown color, and I felt like it would go really nicely with the colors that I'm using. I have a fall recollections pad that I got from Michael's last year, and I'm just cutting down my vanilla cardstock there and gluing it onto a border of the blue-green background. And then I've got some leaf paper here, and I'm just following a sketch from the Scrapbooking Cards Today layout. They have a class which is called Scrapbooking Cards Today 365 Layout 2019. So you have 12 double page layout sketches. Each month they bring out a new sketch, and you can participate in joining along with that sketch just by using either side of the sketch, or you can create a double page layout and share it in their Facebook community, which is fun. So I'm taking the stencil, which is just really beautifully cut and layers really nicely. Distress Oxide, of course, layers so beautifully, and I'm just using that little white piece of paper so that I don't get a lot of ink on the background pattern papers that I already laid down. And I'm using the sponge tool and just lightly going over the areas that I want to add the ink to. Now we've grabbed some antique linen, which is a lighter color. And you can see with Distress Oxides, even if it's a lighter color, it does blend over the darker color. So that's a little bit of a difference between an ink and the oxides. And they blend really nicely. So I was able to extend that color and soften it just by using the lighter antique linen color to go around the edges. And really love how this beautiful stencil worked with this page. I really like using non-traditional colors for certain times of the year, and I really loved with my daughter's outfit that she's wearing here. She's got a little hoodie that has some greens in it that kind of match, and it just worked really well. So I sprayed the oxide with a little bit of just plain water, and then I'm dabbing it up with a little bit of paper towel, and you can see that it leaves that really cool blotchy water effect that the Distress Oxides are known for. Now I'm adding some Distress Oxide ink directly onto these stencils. There are many ways that you can color them, and if you check out the Southern Ridge Trading Company blog, you can find lots of inspiration for taking your chipboard and customizing it, and I have other videos on this channel that can show you the same thing. So I'm taking scattered straw and peacock feathers right now, and I'm just blending it. I'm using it over the glass mat, which wipes off really easily. I did try making a pool of oxide ink with some water, and the inks and dipping it in, but it was just too watered down. I really think that the oxide sprays would work nicely if you have them, but I didn't have them, so I thought adding them directly to the frames and the chipboard just with that sponge would achieve a similar effect. Now I'm using that aged mahogany to add a little bit of red in, just to bring in those fallish type colors. And then I'm adding a little water and some of that aged mahogany and just mixing it up with a paintbrush to add some splatters to my background and bring in those colors to other areas. So I'm using the sponge dauber again and those same colors, and I'm just customizing these leaves, the fall leaves, so that they match the layout and the papers and the frames. And I really love doing this. You can really make sure everything matches and comes together really nicely just by using your colors however you're coloring your chipboard and bringing it all throughout your layout. So these fall leaves are really gorgeous, and of course you could use them for other times of the year like the spring, but I love fall and I couldn't wait to use these on a fall layout. And we are getting cooler temperatures already here. We're in Calgary, Alberta. It doesn't seem like the summer lasts overly long, but I really love fall, so it's hard not to get excited about the fall colors and all the fun fall things. So I'm taking a little bit of the Black Soot Distress Oxide, and this is a really cool effect because it's an oxide. It has that oxidizing nature to it, and you can see as soon as it hits and dries, it's not a black blob. It really dries into a really cool effect that does look oxidized. So there you can see them close up, and I think those really did turn into some really cool fall leaves, and I can't wait to put them on my background. So I'm adding my paper. I was going to use these two polka dotted type papers separately, but then I decided I felt like they looked better closer together, and I just placed them back together, and you couldn't really tell because of the print. And I'm just gluing the abstract frames directly onto my background. So it seems to hold really well with just a white tacky glue is all I use. And this is really fun. I cut down the one on the right, the picture, just to fit in the smaller frame. But you could do a little journaling card or something in there as well. And then I had these stickers in my stash. These are Heidi Swap stickers, and I think they're an older one that was released, but I love the color of it and that it really matched. And then I had some gold little letter stickers as well, so I thought I'd bring in a little bit of the gold color. And I have a date stamp here, so I'm adding a date onto a Project Life card that I cut down a little bit so that it would fit on the left side of the layout but still give me some room for some journaling. And I'm just adding a little more ink around. I placed the leaves on the background where I thought they would look good, and then I was able to simply pick each one up and glue them down just by adding a little bit of that tacky glue and pressing them lightly onto the page. And here I've got some sequins, and the ones that I'm using here are from Spiegelmom Scraps, and I'm just placing them on again similar to how I did the leaves. And once I get them placed on, then I've got some Ranger Multi Matte Medium, and I just add a little bit of matte medium and glue them down. So it adds a little bit of sparkle. Now I have this stamp that's got a little bit of a grid, and I'm just adding a little bit on some of the leaves and some of the background with the Distress Oxide ink. And I'm not sure who makes this stamp, but it's just one that I had in my stash. So I thought it added a nice little detail to the top of the leaves and some of the layout. So I hope this has given you some inspiration for using chipboard and stencils on your layout, and just showing you how easy it is to create a mixed media layout. I hope you'll check out the blog post. I'll link it below, and I'd love for you to like and subscribe. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.